Howdy, y'all. We're trying something new and different again. We are doing a forgotten film review of Pacific Heights. Due to been trying to record this twice now. Just seems like you guys are gonna hear this all the time. But also give you energy in this video. Who cares if I've recorded it 10 times before this take? So let's get into it. As you can see on the thumbnail, we are reviewing Pacific Heights. I bought a copy on eBay. You can get a copy on Amazon, however you want to get a copy of it. Find it in your local thrift store or whatever. Because I don't think it's on Netflix or I don't think it's on Hulu yet, but I like the film, so we're just going to review it. And if anything, if you're not familiar with the film, then I can familiarize it with you right now. So, further ado, I'd like to say that, I'm sure everyone could easily just say that more than likely I might say the actual names of the actors, or I might say the actual character names. I apologize if that confuses anybody. If anybody gets confused, drop a comment down below if there's any confusion, or if you like this video, leave a like, or if you're brand new, more than likely videos like this will keep coming, so please subscribe, or even drop a comment down below of movie that you'd like to see me cover, and I hope I can get to it, whether it be on Netflix, or I have so many movies. More than likely I can get, more than likely I have a copy of a movie that you suggest, but anyways, I know it's easy to say that Michael Keaton is the clear-cut villain of this film, and in my mind, I can't say that. And I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of garbage on that, just because it's like, how can you not say that Michael Keaton is the villain? Because I can. Because I feel that Melanie Griffith and Matthew Modine, this is a Michael Keaton movie, just because the other actors, besides Matthew Modine being in Transporter 2, and Melanie Griffith has been with Antonio Banderas. I haven't really seen her do much, to be honest, but if anything, besides the point, I hope to not go on so many fucking tangents, I'm sorry. Anyways, I think that the couple, Patty and Drake, were so naive that they kind of deserved this, that they were putting all their eggs in one basket, and it's just didn't pan out. But it was just kind of like, I think that they, like the one friend of theirs told you, if you have a person miss 1 month's rent, you're destroyed, it's over for you. And they're just like, yeah, we probably won't get that, come on, no. So, anyways, with further ado, let's actually get to the notes, because I probably put way too many notes. If anything, I hope to not go over 30 minutes, but I can't guarantee that. I ramble and whatever too much. So, if anything, this movie starts with Michael Keaton in bed, the woman. Then all of a sudden, fight breaks out because two guys bust into his house and are, I think they're loan sharks, or like, so like the first impression is just like, oh well, Michael Keaton must have bet on the Dolphins and they lost that day, and here these guys are to break his knuckles or whatever. And this girl, I assumed like, oh well, she's just a lady of the night, her his one night bangarang, if you know what I'm talking about. But turns out she's actually working for him. That I couldn't believe that. I think I've seen this film fully now, but I saw it once before, but I didn't see like the entire movie. I think there was one point where like I kind of, because it was on TV late at night, and I was just like, oh, Michael Keaton movie, and then I just saw it and I was like, wow, this movie, wow, pretty good. But anyways, getting past that point, Michael Keaton starts to, Curtis Michael Keaton, that's the name he goes by under, or Curtis Hayes. He starts to talk about his family and stuff like that, and you get little pictures and of what his family looks like. Anyways, it's a mood point. Anyways, here comes the couple, the Patty and the Drake, and they are they're having the time of their lives, and they bought this house, and they're thinking, yeah, we're the greatest ever, and they just like, it seems like every time you see them, they're like wrapping themselves around one another and kissing and all kinds of stuff. This isn't like a very like a sexual movie, but I think it's rated R, but you don't get to see much, so keep that in mind. Maybe not want to watch it with kids. I don't know. I don't think it's that disturbingly, oh my god. No, it's not that disturbing for kids. If anything, so we have this happy-go-lucky couple. The guy is bringing out the garbage, and all his neighbors are like, it's so like, leave it to Beaver. It's like, hey, like that paint job. Hey, like that new gutter you put in. And here comes Michael Keaton in his, I think it's like a Beamer. I don't know cars, to be honest. But let's just say a flashy car. And he comes in and he starts like driving down the road. He's like, yeah, my shit don't stink. Yeah. So he goes and he sees these neighbors, and they're just like, nice paint job. Oh, good grapes. Or good little paint job you did there. And good little, I like the gutters that you put on there. Yeah, good job. Well, leave it to Beaver. Yeah, frickin' neighborhood. And you know Michael Keaton's like, oh yeah. He's like a frickin', you know how sharks are before they like find their meal, and like they see their meal and like they like file down their teeth and like lick their lips just to make sure that they can get that whole human in. Like that's what I felt like this part was, that you saw Michael Keaton for the first time and he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna ruin your life because I know that you guys are leave it to Beaver. anyways, um, it's kind of like you'll never know when the devil strikes until it is right in front of your door or already inside your door and in your side apartment. um, but very, very suburbia. I like the guest stars in this film. The people that are people that come in is like, hey, let me look at this apartment. Let me look at what's going on here. Let's see if this house is clean and good to go and everything like that. And one of the people that look into the apartment is actually for animated DC friends out there. The God, this is gonna sound so racist. There's this one guy that has, let's just say there's one guy that comes in there. He ends up looking up the apartment and he's like, oh, my credit's good, and like, trust me, like I'm good with everything. Please believe me. Like, I just got dumped by my wife, etc., etc. Sob story, sob story. And they are like, well, we gotta check your credit like everybody else, and you could kind of tell, not by the wife or the Patty, but the husband, that they're kind of doing some like racial profiling, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Because the guy that walked in just so happened to be, to have, let's just say, African American colored skin. I don't want to be, that guy. Let's try to be as God. But this guy, I knew him right away from when he talked. He does the voice for Martian Manhunter John on Justice League. And I was like, oh, this guy's in this film. Great. There are so many good guys that people that appeared from movies that I've seen in other films. There was this one old couple, the guy, I remember him from Green Mile. I think the guy that lives with them, the other couple that lives with Patty and Drake, I remember the husband of that couple. He's done quite a few films and a lot of stuff too. I'm racking my brain trying to figure out something. Maybe he did like The Last Dragon, or I don't know. I can't give you an exact movie of when he was in. But anyways, great special stars that came, or side stars, I guess I could say, like side people that came in. Like each one was like, oh man, this person's in it. Oh wow, this person. Oh wow, cool. But anyways, funny thing is, the man that I said was Martian Manhunter's the voice. You'll find out later that, yeah, they picked the wrong guy. But anyways, so yeah, but it just seemed like for this couple, it was like, if a hard sneeze happened to go their way, like everything was just going to be destroyed. So I think that they kind of deserve this, to be brutally honest. But if anything, I'd like to admit that, like, Michael Keaton is so magical. For how many of her movies, like, if he's a good guy, you love him. If he's a bad guy, you're just like, I hate this guy. Like, he makes you feel the way you should feel about these characters. I think that's why he does so well in the movies that he does. Like, anybody could say it's like, well, this Keaton movie is bad, that Keaton movie is bad. Like, he makes you believe. Like, I don't see a lot of actors that make you believe. And Keaton does that, hands down. He's just magical. How he can just, like, and I'm sure somebody's gonna mention some bad movie that Michael Keaton did once some years ago or whatever, that's like, oh no, he was bad in this, whatever. But that's just my opinion. Is Michael Keaton is magical. That's why I like him as 1989 Batman. He's my favorite just because, like, even though, like, Christian Bale is very good at what he does, like, I like Keaton as the Batman. So if anything, we're gonna go. But yeah, but like immediately. Excuse me, I gotta stretch my legs. Immediately, we see Michael Keaton in his flashy car and a suit, and immediately, like, this Drake Goodman has ooh wow about this guy. He's just like, can I buff your car? Can I give you a little smooch, so to speak? Because, like, he immediately just like, ooh, I like this guy. I don't know why, but I like this guy. And that comes to bite him in the face. Like a dog. But it's kind of funny because he kind of turns into a wild dog, like, the longer we get to this movie. But okay. Again, notes. I gotta make sure I wrote down and covered anything. But you can immediately see that Michael Keaton is trying to get he's trying to get a feel for this couple, but he's also trying to he's also lying and saying whatever he needs just to look at the department, get into the apartment. He will say whatever he needs to say. He lies about, yeah, I saw your wife. Oh, my girlfriend. Oh, I'm sorry, you're not ready. You guys weren't ready for that. Like, how can I twist this knife? But anyways, he goes into the apartment and starts saying all this stuff, but just about like, oh yeah, I have the money. I'll give you rent forever. Just call this guy as reference. Just call this person a reference. Just call this person a reference. It's all good. And it turns out it's not all good. Again, his weaseling his way in, talking about that he's Richie Rich and that he has these accounts in these countries and he doesn't have them. He's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wire you the money. Don't worry about it, and all this. And immediately, these people were just like, after this talk and after Keaton leaves, they're just like, yeah, we should really go with this Chris Hayes, Michael Keaton guy. We should go with him right away. Like, he looks very professional, and he looks like. But Patty is just kind of like, well, this first guy, the Martian Manhunter, I'll just call him that because I don't remember what his actual name was in the actual movie, but he was actually the first person to look at the part, and they're just like, well, I don't know, these people could all be scam artists and stuff like that, except for the Michael Keaton guy. Like, he was thinking that, oh yeah, these I'm sure are probably shady people, but this Michael Keaton person, oh yeah, I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure his credit will check out. I'm sure if we don't even check any of these references, we'll be fine. Because he saw his car, he saw a suit, and that's all he saw. Anyways, but you can kind of tell that when Michael Keaton was in there, he was like, the wheels are turning, because I'll explain more later on of why, like, he knew how to twist and turn the wheels, how to work these people. If anything, there was kind of even like red flags that this person might be a shady person, that this person might not work out, and I think the Drake Goodman was just kind of like, oh, no, I think it'll be fine. Cue once we get Michael Keaton in the apartment. All of a sudden, Patty wakes up one day. And get this, these people, the husband owns a kite. I don't know if he owns it or let's just say for safety's sake, he works at a kite company. And his wife is a retired horse rider. Because she had a bad knee, and so these people, I think, are just like so desperate for this to work. I don't know how much kite people make. I don't know how much she had on her. She was probably well-to-do, or not well-to-do. She was probably she probably just had enough money to just put the money for this house. Anyways, like I said, Melanie Griffith wakes up, and I think she's sleeping. She wakes up. All of a sudden, she starts hearing this hammering. She's like, "What the is that?" It's like, why should I be hearing that? Like, there shouldn't be anybody in the house. What's going on? So she goes and investigates this. Lo and behold, excuse me for constantly moving around. I'm sitting on the floor and it's a little bit, because I had to charge my phone, so besides the point. So if I keep shifting around, just please bear with us here. Anyways, back to the real point. Michael Keaton, or Melanie Griffith, goes down to investigate the apartment. She notices phone books roll over the now rented out room. Rented out as Michael Keaton just let himself in. Just like, oh, well, yeah, the door was open. Probably picked a lock. Yeah, and I noticed this door was open, so I came in and was like, hey, this is my room now. And they're like, say what? It's like, we didn't get your first rent yet. We didn't get your references. We didn't get nothing. And Matthew starts investigating this guy more, and he keeps going dead end, dead end, dead end, dead end. And the money that he said would be wired to them. No. No. So yeah, so this guy is living in their house free. And you keep hearing this hammering, you keep hearing this hammering, these knocking sounds. He makes an excuse to Patty and says that, oh yeah, I talked to your husband, everything's good, whatever. And I think she went back to confirm that with him. He's like, no, I didn't talk with him. But it's like lie after lie after lie, because he knows how to work these people. And I'm going to kind of leave. I wrote notes down, but I kind of want to leave. I kind of want there to be some mystery, a little bit of mystery here about what happens. So we keep hearing this hammering, keep hearing this knocking, and it's like, well, what's going on here? What's going on? So we find out, maybe later on we actually should, that this guy is actually starting to take apart the house. Meaning he's taking the entire room and he is just taking it apart, piece by piece. Oh great, there's a toilet. Gone. Oh great, sink. Gone. Oh great, there's furniture in here. Take. Because you start to see the room into shambles. And you just see Michael Keaton with his razor blade in hand, petting the cat. And we just start to see how shady this person is more and more in the movie. We're just like, God, this guy, like, God, this guy is so shady. This guy is taking everything. And good news in this movie. Good news. So after that whole 2:30 in the morning, hammering, knocking, construction site in a room. Eventually, Drake just like turns off all the heat, all the water, all the everything for that room. Cops get called, and Michael Keaton turns it on them. And but here's the kicker. He knocks on the door because 2:30 in the morning, and it's just like, hey man, like we all gotta sleep. So it's just like he knocks on the door and asks. Curtis Hayes like, what are you doing in there? And dead silence. And he's like, I'm gonna come in here because you guys are making too much noise, and it's way late at night, etc., etc. He goes to, because he has his own key. He goes to unlock the key. They changed the fucking locks, and he's like, they changed the locks. And it's just like, oh my god, that's brilliant. That is just so brilliant. because they're gonna keep doing what they're doing, and now you can't get into the room. It's smart. It's smart. I got a good chuckle out of that, even if I've seen it more than once. It was pretty hilarious. Just of how like they thought of everything, and you're not getting this. You're not getting that easy, Drake and Patty. Anyways, they put a 30-day notice for an eviction for the people to get out because they didn't pay rent, etc., etc. They were kind of thrown in a loop about the guys. Not only Michael Keaton was in there, but his sidekick, his guy that is supposed to get paid pretty good off of this job. So he not only has, like, Michael Keaton is not only doing this himself, but he has a person doing it with him. And so anyways, after this whole event where Michael Keaton calls cops and is like, hey, this person can't turn off my electricity and all this other stuff. Like, I'm his tenant now. He can't do that, even though he never paid rent. That's what the Drake Goodman character kept talking about. Like, he's never paid rent. He's never paid a cent. He shouldn't be in my house. Blah 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 blah. And it gets to a point where Goodman's just like, yeah, like, I don't care if this guy pays us for the rent. Like, I don't want him in my house. I don't want him. Like, he needs to get out. So, Drake goes and talks to Patty, and like, more and more this Drake guy gets more and more like a wild dog. Like, in the beginning he's so nice, but then it's like his anger level just like goes gradually up into this slope, and it just goes freaking wild. But he got the story at 30 minutes already. We're not even through half of my notes, so we'll keep going. Anyways, Patty is talking to Drake, and she's like, yeah, I've been sick. I don't know what is. So she goes to the doctor. He goes to her horse ranch or whatever, and he's talking about the whole situation and how it's like, well, this isn't fair, blah blah blah. And she tells him, she's like, yeah, I'm pregnant. And he's just like, congratulations. It's like, those two were sleeping together. Like, she couldn't be with anybody else. But like, it's like, congratulations. It's like, dude, you shouldn't, like, you should be excited. You should be, like, maybe he felt bad that he was saying all this stuff, and then, like, she hit him with that. But I just thought it was like, dude, you should be either happy, or you should just be like, oh man, I'm so sorry that, like, I ruined you telling me that could have done something. Anyways, but you can tell the more and more that this story goes on that this is just ruining this couple. You can tell that, like, this Michael Keaton thing is just sucking the life out of them. You can tell, like, when they are just like looking for answers for people, like asking for loans, everything like that. How they're just like, they're just defeated. That there's like, God, like this house was good once, but now it's just not. So, um, but yeah, it gets worse. Michael Keaton's character starts putting roaches in the house, like these jars and jars of just roaches, and while he's continually working on this house to make it so unlivable for other people that the second couple that was with Patty and Drake, they leave just because they're like, you know what, you can take me to court even though you have like no money to take me to court. I know I already said that I was going to live here for I think for like a year or something like that, but this is completely unlivable. They found roaches in their kitchen, and like they could tell that this was a crazy environment to go live in. So like, sorry, I'm out of here. And so like you can see that this couple is just like, well, our lives are over. You could tell Patty and Drake were just like, here's this one goal that we had, that we just hoped that we would have good people living in our house, and it just completely backfired on us and ruined our lives. Eggs in one basket, that's what you get. So, but yeah, but come to find out, like Michael Keaton is just doing this just step by step. That's because he's done it. You find out that Michael Keaton's character, this is his job, is to destroy homes and take all these toilets, fixtures, whatever, steal it from these people and sell it. He's been doing it for years, and he's just conned his way. Unbelievable. Like, I don't think I'm doing it justice good enough, because, man, like, he goes after a woman that he knows that he can just, like, yeah, I'm gonna go after this woman, and she's worth, like, $20 million. $20 million? And you'll find out later, his family has a trust fund. Because his family's pretty rich. But yeah, his family gives him money to stay out of their lives. That's how bad this guy is. That's how shady this guy is. This is like a guy that I think at one point he was just like, I think with his family he was just like, well, this money is mine for some reason. And like he crocodiled and crooked and did whatever, said whatever he needed to say to ruin his entire family's lives, and they pay him just for him to go away, because they're just like, this guy is like a guy that's like living dynamite. He's just, that's who he is. He's, even when he explodes, it's like, Well, I got another pack of dynamite right here. I got another fuse ready to go. um, but yeah, you find out you find out that this guy's been doing this for years. But the buddy that he's with, he's like, I wasn't expecting him to have a 30-day out right away, and he's like, dude, I got this on lock. Michael Keaton was like, he's like, dude, I've been doing this for years now. It's like I've been taking money out of everybody's hand. Don't worry about it. So, um, oh, and that big fancy car that Michael Keaton has, yeah, he starts taking that apart too, selling it for spare parts, whatever he can get. So that car, just fake as he is, um, or just a way of him making money, extra money on the side, with also screwing these people over. I thought Drake had some dream sequence which didn't make sense at all. Like Michael Keaton was just gonna like dominate his life and then like take his woman away and all this other stuff, and it was just weird. And I don't think they really needed that in the movie, but it was weird. Anyways, so this girl is being put through so much stress with not only Michael Keaton doing the stuff that he's doing, but then her boyfriend doing what he's doing. Drake ends up waking up after the stream and hears his wife crying, and he checks the bed, and the bed's full of blood. So he goes to investigate, and she's crying in the tub. This is the most heart-wrenching part of this whole movie, because you find out that because of all the stress, all this stuff going on, that Patty loses the baby, which is so sad. Because you were kind of hoping that something good will come out at the end of the story. But that part just kind of is like, I kind of wish that they hadn't done that part, but I think it really, like, something like that, like, really, I think, impacts the story. So I can give him props for making a big moment like that. Even though it's like, oh, really, you gotta put that in there? Okay, sure. Because this movie wasn't gripping enough. If anything, we get after the whole baby incident. I remember the lawyer of them saying, it's like, well, let's not hope that this guy makes it personal. And he starts to make it personal. He talks and says, oh yeah, I heard something about you guys needing to go to the hospital. So I called the hospital. Oh, that's too bad about losing your baby. And then Drake goes ape shit and just starts beating this guy because he's just like, Michael Keaton's just like, oh, how can I make this worse? How can I twist the knife? I'm gonna talk about that. Because I want to just own these people. And that right there, oh. But they end up going to court, and basically they say about a civil suit and all this other yuckity lawyer stuff, Anyways, so he ends up, Michael Keaton's character files a restraining order on Drake to not be in the house, and then just Melanie Griffith is in the house, and it's her and Michael Keaton downstairs, and she gets home, calls her up, and he's like, yeah, I wish we could have been good friends. Like, the creepiest freaking way you could, like, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna own you too. And it's just like, God, you, like, anyways, the guy who's on restraining order now comes back into the house anyways, and Michael Keaton ends up opening fire on him after, like, it's like, God, you, like, Michael Keaton's like, God, you just don't know when to stop, do you? And then he, like, shoots him, and, like, throws a coral bar in his hand to make him feel like, oh, he was gonna swing at me, I had to fire. So this just, like, escalates. Come to find out, after all this stuff happens, eventually after the 30 days, Melanie Griffith opens the house, or gets into the apartment that Michael Keaton was, and it's just ripped to shreds. And she's just like, really? But yeah, that's what happens. But one thing is that she went after him, because she starts talking with, Patty starts talking with some of her buddies, some of Michael Keaton's old friends, the girl that he was sleeping with earlier, and she's like, oh yeah, you won't know this guy. This guy is a shark. This guy is because she sees a picture frame in the room that he was in, and it was of his family from earlier on in the movie. So turns it over, finds a name on the back, so she does research on the name, and lawyers and all this, like, was telling her by, oh yeah, his family pays him to get rid of him. I'm trying to rush this so I can it's almost 50 minutes, so we're gonna rush a little bit. So Melanie finds out all the information she knows. She tracks Michael Keaton down. She ends up going to a hotel that he stays in, and she's like, oh, is Curtis Hayes here? And they go, no. He's like, well, is Drake Goodman here? And they're like, oh yeah, he just left. And she's like, really? You took my husband's name? You kidding me? So she goes and sneakily goes into his hotel room, finds all this information about him, finds money in a briefcase and all this other stuff, and then she calls room service and says, yeah, I'd like to order all this food, and I'd like to order 10 cases of wine to the whole room, or the whole hotel, or whatever, and then she calls Drake, and she says, yeah, how about you cancel all your credit cards, and how about you put our checking account on hold, because he stole all our information, or he stole your identity, blah blah blah. So come to find out, Michael Keaton comes back, and he's like, oh, the manager of the hotel is like, hey, wow, thanks for making all that wine and all this other stuff that you ordered, room service for the entire floor and everything like that. Hey, by the way, your credit cards aren't working, your checks aren't working. And he's like, well, they should work. Did you try them again? And this keeps progressing, and because he has no money to really give him, so because everything that he has is in that room, all the money, I'm assuming all the money he has is probably in that room. So Melanie escapes the hotel as Michael Keaton is going back to the room, seeing what the F happened, and he finds his room disheveled and stuff's missing, and he's like, what happened? And you know how in these movies they do these stupid little like turns, like, oh my god, and like, it's like, oh my god, to add suspense, as like this person is going to quickly turn around and the boogeyman is going to be right where they turn their face. It got to those kind of points in that movie, and I was like, this is cheesy, but it was funny to see those. Like, I thought it was funny when they were doing those, and like, I think to just add suspense. But anyways, I just want to look down at my notes to see if I missed anything. Anyways, this whole thing turns around, and now Michael Keaton is in prison, and he's talking to that $20 million girl, and he's like, yeah, these people wronged me, and I was giving them money, I was trying to give them money for rent, but something didn't happen, and these people are just after me. It was a nightmare, turning all this shit that he was the bad guy, but in turn, they were the bad guy. And he was like, yeah, and like, I had to shoot him because he was just after me. It was just like the worst experience ever, and these people were bad people. And so he turns to this $20 million girl, we'll just say, and he's like, I know in your heart, because you know me, that I'm a good guy. It's like, I have no money for bail. If you just pay for my bail, like, you'll know I'll make this right. I'll pay you back, whatever. You know I have it. Just believe in me. It's like, oh man, he is so good. He is just playing everybody, and wow, this is so great. He's just playing everybody like a violin. And so cue Melanie Griffith and Drake going back in the house, and they think they've won. They're like, oh yeah, I can't wait to spend all this money, this extra money that we got from Keaton. Oh yeah, I can't wait to... They're watching infomercials and all this other stuff, and they think they won. They think they can just go about their day. Anyways, Melanie goes downstairs to check on something, like the good old Hollywood horror movies of old. And bird flies, cat flies, meow, whatever. Same old horror stuff that's like, suspense, be suspenseful, watch my face getting closer to the screen. But yeah, that's how they kind of get you. So Drake is lounging around. He's, at this point, he had bullet holes in his body, so he's really hurt. And all of a sudden, like, Michael Keaton comes into the frame, and he has a golf club in his hand. He starts beating Drake. He starts beating him, and Melanie Griffith is just going upstairs, like she can't hear any of this, whatever. Then all of a sudden, Michael Keaton goes to Melanie, and he gets her in the room that he was in, and he was like, You're in my space. You're in my room. How could you do this to me?" kind of thing, where it's like you ruined my life. Like, I have a brother to take care of. Like, you know how could you do this? And like, this so good, so good. Michael Keaton is just so great in this movie. How he acts is just great. But it's like, oh, please have sympathy for me, even though I screwed you over completely. So, Melanie and Keaton fight. It ends up going that Drake can't get into the room that they are, because of course change the locks. So he goes underneath the apartment, because he did that before, trying to find out what Michael Keaton and his protege was doing. And then he started talking about, oh, I've been doing this for years. And his partner was just like, hey man, when am I going to get my cut? And this shady guy, he kicks his buddy out. And I feel like none of these people are going to get a dime. Like, they're going to work for him, but they're never going to see a cent. Because he's greedy as shit. Which is best bad guy. Is just too greedy that he won't even pay the buddy that was working with him this whole time. So, if anything, we get the tussle. Like I said, Drake's going underneath the house trying to figure out a way to get in to help his wife, because he hears them fighting. So he sees a hole in the floor and he grabs Michael Keaton's leg. Tussle. You get the point. Michael Keaton ends up, Melanie ends up, like, they start to do this whole like nail gun fighting thing where he tries to joke around with her, and like he's like, you're defenseless. I'm gonna slow this down and enjoy it. And that ends up, hey guys, as you can see, ton of movies. But if anything, we're gonna wrap this video up in here. Cause I accidentally deleted, see my collection here, bobblehead collection, all kinds of good stuff. We're just gonna finish this off in here. Just because I deleted a video by accident, so we're gonna finish this up in here. So Michael Keaton struggling with Melanie, struggle, like I said before. Matthew grabs Michael Keaton's leg, coming from the floor, grabs his leg. Michael Keaton starts falling back, and Melanie pushes him, and Michael Keaton gets stabbed by a piece falling from, or a piece that was one of the things that he was rumbling out. So cue the happy ending. Because pretty much after that it was Melanie and Drake, or Patty and Drake, selling the house after they completely refurbished the house. No one's like, hey, you put a lot of love in this, why are you selling it? And she was like, and Patty goes, it's like, well, it was never going to be a home, it was going to be investment, and like, that's the big moment. One little rebuttal I had, I never talked about the character that I called Martian Manhunter. There was a part where this part kept accelerating, and it just happened that the guy that was the Martian Manhunter, is how I explained him, he was a cop. So the guy that they thought might have been shady was actually a good guy all along. He was actually the guy they should have put, the guy that looked first at the apartment. That's the guy they should have. Sorry, I had a phone call from out of state, so it doesn't matter. That's the guy they should have put in the apartment all along, but they shot themselves in the foot with that. So, if anything, thank you for anyone who watched this whole video and everything like that. We'll see if we can keep doing these. So I appreciate it. I will see you guys later. Good night and good luck.